You ever watch someone die slowly and know you could stop it, but don't? I was 23 years old, pouring whiskey at the Silver Dollar Saloon in Dodge City. The owner, Dutch Morrison, was a mean son of a bitch who treated everyone like dirt, especially his wife. Her name was Elena. Dark eyes, soft voice, and a smile that could make a man forget his own name. Every night she'd sit in the corner, watching her husband drink himself stupid. And every night I'd pour his whiskey, wondering what a woman like that was doing with a man like him. Then one night, she leaned across the bar and whispered 6 words that changed everything. "Help me, and we'll be rich." Partner, some fortunes are paid in gold. Others are paid in blood. And some, they're paid in poison. If you're settling in for this one, hit that subscribe button. Summer of 1875. Dodge City was booming. Cattle drives coming up from Texas. Cowboys spending their wages on whiskey and cards, and men like Dutch Morrison getting richer every day. The Silver Dollar was the finest saloon in town. Red velvet curtains, brass fixtures, real glass mirrors shipped all the way from Chicago. Dutch owned it all. The saloon, half the buildings on Front Street, even had the sheriff in his pocket. And me? I was just the bartender, making $2 a week, sleeping in a room above the saloon that was barely big enough for a cot. I'd come west looking for opportunity, and all I'd found was a mop and an apron. But I had something Dutch didn't know about. I had his wife's attention. Elena Morrison was the most beautiful woman in Kansas. Maybe the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. Dark hair that caught the lamplight, eyes like midnight, and a voice that could make you forget every sensible thought you'd ever had. She was 28 years old. Dutch was 52. He'd married her 5 years ago in St. Louis, brought her out west like a piece of furniture. Something pretty to look at while he counted his money and drank his whiskey. I watched her every night. The way she'd sit in that corner booth, hands folded, face expressionless, like a prisoner counting the days. And every night, Dutch would ignore her. Too busy gambling, too busy drinking, too busy being the biggest man in Dodge City. And every night, she'd look at me. Just for a moment, just long enough to make me wonder. Dutch Morrison was everything I wasn't. Rich, powerful, feared. He had a reputation for violence. I'd seen him beat a man half to death over a $20 poker debt. Seen him throw a girl out into the street in the middle of winter because she spilled his drink. He treated Elena like property, ordered her around, humiliated her in front of customers, made her sit there and watch while he flirted with saloon girls. And every Saturday night, after closing, he'd make me stay and watch while he counted his money. $50,000 in the safe. Gold coins, cash, land deeds. He'd count it slow, making sure I saw every dollar I'd never have. That's when I started hating him. Really hating him. Jack died 3 days later. His wound got infected. I buried him next to Sarah, the 8th grave. I took the gold, all of it. But I never spent it, because every time I look at those coins, I see Jack. And Sarah, and those 7 men. Greed, partner. It turns people into monsters. I left Murphy's Creek with the gold, but I left a piece of me there, with Jack, in the grave. 15 years have passed since that day. The gold's still hidden somewhere. I can't touch it, can't even look at it, because that money isn't clean. It was earned with blood, with betrayal, death, and greed. Sometimes I think about Jack, about the last thing he said before Sarah shot him. Partner, shoot her. I shot her, but I was too late. If you've listened this far, partner, maybe you understand what I'm trying to say. Gold doesn't set you free, it imprisons you. And sometimes the worst prisons are your own conscience. Hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, and next time I'll tell you another tale from the dusty roads. Until then, may your trails be clear and your whiskey warm. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stood at my window, looking down at Front Street, and tried to make sense of what Elena was asking me to do. Murder. That's what she was asking. Not in so many words, but that's what it was. He drinks himself sick every night, she'd said. All we have to do is help him along. A little something in his whiskey. Painless. Quick. And when he's gone, I inherit everything. We inherit everything. $50,000. A new life. Freedom from mopping floors and emptying spittoons and watching rich men waste money I'd never see. And Elena. Beautiful. Trapped Elena, who looked at me like I was somebody worth looking at. I told myself it wasn't really murder. Dutch was killing himself anyway with the drinking. We'd just be speeding up what was already happening. That's what I told myself, and I almost believed it. Elena gave me the poison 3 days later. A small brown bottle, no bigger than my thumb. She'd gotten it from a traveling medicine man. Arsenic, she said. Tasteless, odorless. Mix it with whiskey, and Dutch would just think he was having a bad night. 3 drops, she told me, in his evening whiskey. He'll get sick, go to bed, and by morning, it'll be over. The doctor will say it was his heart. No one will ask questions. I held that bottle in my hand for an hour after she left. Felt the weight of it. The weight of what I was about to do. But then I thought about Dutch, the way he treated her, the way he treated me, the way he treated everyone like they were nothing. And I thought about $50,000, about owning the Silver Dollar instead of mopping its floors, about Elena looking at me like I was her hero. So I put the bottle in my pocket, and I waited for Saturday night. Saturday night. The saloon was packed. Cowboys, gamblers, the usual crowd. Dutch was at his table, winning at poker, laughing loud, drinking heavy. Around midnight, he yelled for his whiskey. The good stuff. The bottle he kept behind the bar. My hands were shaking as I poured. I could feel the weight of that brown bottle in my vest pocket. Elena was watching from her corner. Our eyes met. She nodded. Just once. I pulled out the bottle, uncorked it. 3 drops, she'd said. I counted them as they fell into the whiskey. 1, 2, 3. The glass sat there on the bar, looking innocent. Just whiskey. Just a drink. I carried it to Dutch's table, set it down in front of him. About damn time, he said, not even looking at me. He picked up the glass, raised it to his lips, drank it all in one swallow. Another, he said. And I walked back to the bar, my heart hammering so hard I thought everyone could hear it. Dutch drank 3 more whiskeys that night, regular ones. I couldn't bring myself to add more poison. 3 drops, Elena had said. That's all it would take. Around 2 in the morning, he started looking pale, sweating. He pushed back from the poker table, stumbled toward the stairs. "Elena!" he called out. His voice was weak. "Elena, help me upstairs." She moved fast, took his arm, guided him up to their room. Before she disappeared, she looked back at me. Her face was calm, almost peaceful, like she'd been waiting for this moment her whole life. I cleaned the bar, swept the floors, did all my usual work, tried to act normal, tried not to think about what was happening upstairs, tried not to think about the fact that I just killed a man. Dutch Morrison died in his bed at dawn. The doctor came, looked him over, and shook his head. "Heart gave out," he said. "All that drinking." I warned him. The sheriff nodded. Shame, but not surprising. And just like that, it was over. No questions, no investigation. Just another man who drank himself to death in Dodge City. Elena played the grieving widow perfectly. Black dress, tears at the funeral, quiet dignity. The town felt sorry for her. Poor young woman, trapped in a marriage to a mean old drunk. 2 days after the funeral, she came to find me in the saloon. "Tonight," she whispered, after closing, "we'll open the safe together, split everything, and then we'll leave, start over." somewhere far from here. I should have seen it coming, should have known. But I was too stupid, too young, too in love. So I waited for her that night, like a fool. She showed up at midnight, but she wasn't alone. The sheriff walked in behind her, and suddenly I understood everything. "I'm sorry," Elena said, but she wasn't looking at me. She was looking at the safe. "But I can't split $50,000 with a murderer." The sheriff grabbed my arm. "You're under arrest for the murder of Dutch Morrison." "What?" "No. Elena, tell him." "Tell him what?" she said. Her voice was cold now. All that softness, all that warmth, gone like it was never there. "Tell him how you poisoned my husband because you thought I'd run away with you. How you were obsessed with me." She pulled a brown bottle from her bag. The poison bottle, my fingerprints all over it. "Found this hidden in his room," she told the sheriff. Poor Dutch. He never knew his bartender was plotting to kill him. I tried to explain, tried to tell them she'd given me the poison. But the sheriff wasn't listening. The whole town had seen me watching Elena. Everyone knew I was obsessed with her. And Elena? She'd played her part perfect. The innocent widow. The victim. The one who'd get to keep all $50,000 for herself. They locked me in the Dodge City jail while they waited for the circuit judge. I sat in that cell for 3 days, replaying everything in my head. How stupid I'd been. How blind. Elena had used me from the start. Found a lonely kid who'd do anything for a pretty smile and a promise. Made me into a murderer. And then handed me over to the law without a second thought. Dutch Morrison had been a cruel man. He'd probably deserved what he got. But I didn't deserve to hang for it. I asked to see Elena, begged the sheriff to let me talk to her one more time. He laughed. "Mrs. Morrison left town yesterday. Said she couldn't bear to stay in Dodge after everything that happened. Took the train to San Francisco with all her husband's money." Of course she did. And I'd made it all possible. The stupid bartender who thought a woman like that could ever love a man like me. The trial lasted 2 days. The prosecutor painted me as a jealous young man who'd become obsessed with his employer's wife, who'd plotted murder for weeks, who'd cold-bloodedly poisoned Dutch Morrison's whiskey. My lawyer tried, argued that Elena had manipulated me, that she'd given me the poison, that she was the real killer. But there was no proof, just my word against hers. And she was gone. Vanished with all that money. Untouchable. The jury took 20 minutes to find me guilty. The judge gave me 20 years. Said I was lucky not to hang. Said maybe prison would teach me that you can't murder your way to a fortune. As they led me out of the courtroom in chains, I thought about Elena. Wondered if she ever thought about me. Wondered if she felt even a moment of guilt. Probably not. Women like Elena don't feel guilt. They just move on to the next fool stupid enough to believe them. I've been in this Kansas prison for 15 years now. 5 more to go before they let me out. I'm 38 years old. Spent my whole youth behind these bars. Lost everything for a woman I barely knew and $50,000 I never touched. Sometimes I wonder what happened to Elena. Read in an old newspaper that she'd remarried. Some rich banker in San Francisco. Probably played the same game with him she played with me and Dutch. Maybe she's on husband number 3 or 4 by now. And Dutch Morrison? Nobody mourned him much. The town moved on. The Silver Dollar got a new owner. Life went on without either of us. I learned something in here, partner. Something I wish I'd known when I was 23. There's 2 kinds of people in this world. The ones who use and the ones who get used. Elena was the first kind. I was the second. And the worst part? Even after everything, after 15 years in this cell, sometimes I still dream about her. About those dark eyes and that soft voice, and the way she made me feel like I mattered. That's the real poison, partner. not the arsenic in the bottle, but the poison of believing someone like that could ever really care about someone like you. Dutch Morrison died from 3 drops in his whiskey. But me? I've been dying slowly for 15 years, and I've got 5 more years to go. If this story's worth your time, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment and tell me where you're listening from. And remember, when a beautiful woman offers you the world, ask yourself what she's really offering, because it probably ain't what you think. Until next time, partner, may your trails be clear and your whiskey clean.